This wasn't a rehearsed gesture. This wasn't part of a script. It was a split second where distance disappeared, restraint weakened, and emotion nearly crossed a line in front of everyone. And strangely, most people didn't notice it at first. Award stages are built to elevate people above emotion. They are places of posture, precision, and public composure. Every step is calculated, every pause anticipated. Yet that night, the stage seemed to lose its authority. As Chen Zheyuan and Li Qin stood side by side, something quietly shifted. The physical space remained the same, but emotionally it narrowed. The distance between them was no longer defined by choreography, but by instinct. This was not closeness designed for cameras. It was closeness that happened because neither of them pulled away. What made the moment striking was not the movement forward, but the hesitation that followed. A fraction of a second where time slowed, where intentions surfaced before being gently restrained. In that pause, the stage stopped feeling like a platform and started feeling like an intrusion. Public spaces rarely allow private emotions to breathe. Yet for that brief moment, emotion surfaced anyway, uninvited, unannounced. The stage, meant to magnify professionalism, suddenly felt too small to contain what was unfolding. And that is precisely why the moment resonated. It wasn't dramatic. It was human. Not all emotions ask to be spoken. Some appear quietly, through the body, through the eyes, through what remains deliberately unexpressed. That night was defined not by words, but by restraint. There was no confession, no deliberate gesture designed to draw attention. Instead, meaning emerged in subtler ways, a lingering gaze, a softened expression, a pause that felt heavier than speech. These are signals people rarely control consciously. They surface when emotion outruns intention. The absence of dialogue made the moment stronger. Words can be rehearsed, silence cannot. What unfolded between them felt unscripted precisely because it relied on instinct rather than performance. Viewers were not told what to feel. They sensed it. This is why the moment invited interpretation rather than explanation. Each viewer filled the silence with their own understanding, their own emotional memory. The unspoken allowed connection. In storytelling, what is left unsaid often carries the most weight. Here, silence became a language of its own, one that communicated warmth, tension, and care without demanding certainty. It did not declare anything. It simply revealed that something existed. Audiences are familiar with onstage chemistry. The entertainment industry thrives on carefully presented closeness, smiles timed for cameras, gestures calibrated for impact. Yet this moment felt different because it did not seem to seek attention. There was no attempt to amplify the interaction, no awareness of reaction, no visible desire to perform emotion. Instead, the moment appeared to happen despite the setting, not because of it. That distinction matters. What viewers sensed was vulnerability, a brief lapse in control where emotion surfaced before professionalism could fully reclaim it. The expressions were not exaggerated, they were restrained. And restraint, when genuine, often feels more revealing than boldness. Another key difference was timing. The moment was fleeting, almost accidental. It passed before anyone could respond to it in real time. That impermanence made it feel real. It did not linger for applause. It slipped through. This is why audiences responded emotionally rather than analytically. They did not see a performance to judge, but a moment to feel. In an industry built on visibility, the most memorable moments are sometimes the ones that were never meant to be noticed. At first, the moment existed quietly. It passed without immediate reaction, absorbed into the flow of the event. But the internet has a way of slowing time down. Once clips began circulating, attention shifted. The moment was replayed, examined, slowed frame by frame. What had once been fleeting became permanent, and with repetition came interpretation. Interestingly, the reaction was not explosive. There was no collective outrage or dramatic conclusion. Instead, there was curiosity. Viewers asked questions rather than making claims. They noticed details, the hesitation, the expressions, the timing. The conversation grew from observation, not assumption. This kind of response is rare. It suggests that audiences sensed authenticity and treated it with care. The moment was not consumed aggressively. It was contemplated. Social media did not create the emotion. It revealed it. By allowing people to watch more closely, it gave them time to feel what had been missed initially. The internet didn't exaggerate the moment. It clarified it. In doing so, it transformed a private feeling interaction into a shared emotional experience, not through noise, but through attention. Much of the discussion has focused on closeness. Yet, one of the most meaningful aspects of the moment lies in what did not happen. Restraint is often misunderstood as hesitation or uncertainty, but restraint can also be a deliberate expression of respect for the other person, for the setting, for boundaries that matter. In that pause, there was awareness. Rather than crossing a line for impact, the moment stopped just before it. That decision, whether conscious or instinctive, reframed the interaction. It suggested care rather than impulse, consideration rather than display. In an environment where attention can be gained through escalation, choosing restraint can be a powerful emotional signal. It shows that some feelings are valued enough not to be turned into spectacle. This perspective shifts the narrative. Instead of asking why something did not happen, we might ask what was being protected. Sometimes emotion is expressed not through action, but through control. Respect, in this sense, becomes visible. It is quiet, but deeply intentional. And for many viewers, that quiet intention felt more sincere than any overt gesture could have been. Completed moments offer closure. Incomplete moments offer memory. The reason this interaction stayed with audiences is precisely because it remained unfinished. Almost creates space for thought, for feeling, for imagination. It resists resolution. Had the moment fully crossed into certainty, it would have been quickly categorized and moved on from. Instead, it lingered. It invited reflection rather than conclusion. Viewers carried it with them because it asked nothing and explained nothing. Human experience is full of moments like this. Pauses, hesitations, things felt but not acted upon. We recognize ourselves in them. That recognition creates emotional resonance. In storytelling, restraint often outlives spectacle. What is withheld can feel more meaningful than what is given freely. This moment did not demand attention, yet it earned it. Almost reminds us that emotion does not need to be completed to be real. Sometimes it is in the pause, the space between intention and action, that truth quietly reveals itself. If you enjoyed this kind of deep, emotional storytelling about the moments behind the spotlight, don't forget to subscribe to LVT-SHOWBIZ. Thank you for watching, for feeling, and for staying curious. We'll see you in the next story, where the quiet moments speak the loudest.